going on, everybody? I am inviting everybody into the room. Heard a beep. Someone is there. Let me look in the tab, see who's here. We got Kelly. There's Kelly.
Hey.
John
like,
has any relation to Jennifer?
Huh? Oh.
We got on the air before Facebook kicked us.
Yay!
Someone's saying that your shirt looks purple, Mark.
It does kind of look purple.
I think it's your camera settings.
Yeah. Yeah. So my nephew had come in here earlier, and I figured he might want in on some of Spider News. But now there's Peter Pan. Yeah, but now there's Peter Pan. So he doesn't care.
Hi, Brad and Kelly. What's going on, Bob?
Hey, Bob.
Welcome back, y'all. KOW. Bruce. What up?
Hey.
George in the house.
Hey.
All right, let me get my list up.
Okay. Getting hair in my face.
Things I haven't said in years. No. Let's see. Oh, I put the rundown in the comments, didn't I? There they are.
Okay.
Looks like I'm starting with you, Kelly.
Okay.
There's my tab. Let me share screen.
Mm-hmm.
There we go.
Yep, this is the one I thought Gabe would want in on because he was super excited when I was watching it. But
oh yeah,
yeah.
Is that what he's asking for Christmas?
Yep.
As a PS4, that's what.
PS5. Yeah.
Or PS5. Not much. How old is he?
He is 5.
Yeah, not much difference in 40 years. That's what I want for Christmas too.
I'll be happy to get a PS4 for Christmas and play the old Spider-Man.
Well, they're probably going to be on sale.
Yeah.
So.
Well, see, my mom bought me and bought my step-niece the PS4 Spidey editions.
Yeah. So you got a red one, huh?
Yeah,
That's
and I'm sad because I don't want to give it like if there was another Spidey edition of the PS5, then maybe I'd be more excited.
I suspect you're going to have it's going to be bundled, and it's going to be like red and black or something like that.
Yeah, and that'd be cool. I'd be fine with that. But
you know that's the bundle I'm buying. Neil, wiggle your camera, sir.
Neil.
Whoa, let me get through all these comments while we're waiting on Neil. And here, let me remove the. There we got everybody. Okay.
Neil, what are you doing?
Well, Neil, that's the best Neil's ever looked.
Turn on a light, bro. Gross, it's George. Oh, Grant, what's up? Fighting with George. Get your house in order. I beat you to it.
I'm driving home.
You're what? You're driving home? Is that what he said?
He's driving home.
Oh my. Never grows up. Grant Alford.
Fighting words.
Hey. I thought I smelled failure. Turns out it was just Grant Alford. Oh, George.
Oh, man.
I think Kindred has been possessing Peter for some time. That was a good one, George. Too bad you won't have another for a few years. Oh, says Grant. Grant, I'd say that's elder abuse, but I didn't think you're young enough to call George an elder myself. Jennifer Lopez's brother Jonathan says Spidey developer said it's like the standalone expansion, the 4 Uncharted Lost Legacy.
I'm used to this from Alford. Frankly, I blame the parent.
Yeah. What is going on with Neil over here? Let me see this.
Neil's in his car. He's
Neil is driving.
Video. God,
it's
Neil
me.
is
I'm
driving.
vertical.
Oh God, you're trying to trigger me. Okay, let's get started. 21 people are not going to wait for Neil to park. Coming down in 3, 2. Hey, Crawl Spacers, welcome to our new set. Let me do it again.
Hi, Neil.
Lost Neil. 3, 2. Hey, Crawl Spacers, welcome to our Spider News segment. Let's introduce the panel. We got Kelly. What's going on, Kelly?
I'm good. It's Saturday night.
Talking Spider News.
Yeah.
And we got Dark Mark in the house. You ready for round 2, huh?
Ready for round 2.
Nice. JR, what's going on, sir?
Well, I was thinking when we reviewed the Sin Eater Sin's Rising story, they said that Stan Carter was in hell. And when they said Stan Carter was in hell, I expected to see a story about marriage. But, apparently, apparently that wasn't.
He didn't get married, did he? I don't think
No.
Stan Carter was, I think he was a bachelor. Anyway, George, what's going on?
Not
Mark, this is the kind of thing that happens when I say, hello, JR, how are you? This is welcome to the show. That's how we start it. We're going to talk about, I think the biggest news, spider-related, that was online is going to Kelly. New Miles Morales PS5 game coming.
Yeah.
Let's take a look at this trailer as you talk about it.
All right.
Tell me what the trailer shows us.
Not a whole lot, because it's just the announcement trailer. But we see some Venom strikes and camouflage, so we know he's got his special powers.
Right.
It takes place in the dead of winter, so it's a few months after the first game.
Mm-hmm.
Possible involvement of Tinker and Wrath, some Eagle Eyes.
Who? I don't know those villains.
The Tinkerer.
Well, the Tinkerer. And
yeah.
Wrath? Who's Wrath?
Wrath. I think it's one of Miles's villains.
Okay.
Sadly, I'm not super engrossed in his storyline like I guess I should be, but it's got some of it's more likely going to feature mostly his villains. Some Eagle Eyes saw a split-second shot at 105 where they think it could be the Prowler. I'm not 100% sure, but
I'm sure the Prowler's in it.
But it I didn't really see any kind of gameplay as far as today goes. Obviously that will be coming up. People will they're going to have more trailers, they're going to have more stuff. We were talking about it earlier. They've got to have a bundle with the PS5.
Yeah.
So we'll see what they have in store. I think the most recent news is that there will definitely be a 4K 60 frames per second performance mode.
Yeah,
that everyone seems excited. Yeah, but we haven't seen anything because there's no gameplay yet. So
yeah, those look like all cutscenes.
Yes.
So
it was an announcement trailer. It's not even a real trailer for it. It's just
and a lot of people are saying that this originally they thought it was just replacing, it was like a PS5 version of the original Spider-Man game that was on PS4, but no, it's an original story. And but I didn't play that Uncharted Lost whatever it was that came out after Uncharted 4.
To me, it felt like a mini game, and honestly, for this, I think this was going to be a DLC if they couldn't finish the PS5. Like if they were going to push it back, this was going to be a DLC for PS4. But the whole thing is they ramped up production for PS5, so now they want a Spider-Man title for PS5, and that's kind of what's happened here. It might be a little bit might have some extra stories that maybe wouldn't have originally been in the DLC.
Yeah.
But this doesn't feel like it was made specifically with PS5 in mind in the beginning.
Yeah. Because I only have ever bought one group of DLCs, and that was for the Spider-Man game.
Yeah.
And from memory serves, they have multiple versions of DLCs.
Yes.
So it would beg the reason that this could have been the second round of DLCs for the PS4 game.
I think so. Yeah.
I do too. But it looks cool. It looks
like an acronym hell.
Downloadable content.
Oh.
DLC.
Yeah.
All right.
It's kind of like it's
kind of like AARP, JR.
It's basically it's just nowadays video games will come out, and instead of getting another video game, like making a sequel to that video game, it's just creating downloadable content for the game to extend the gameplay later on. Yeah.
And with the exception of this is the only PS5 game I'm interested in. I mean, you're a PlayStation gamer, aren't you, Kelly?
Sort of.
Yeah.
I'm PC Master Race more than consoles.
Because you said you bought the red Spider-Man version of the PS4. But you just bought that in 2018, so you got it near the end of its life.
I'm mad because I'm like, this PS4 can totally go way longer than this.
Oh, yeah.
I just got it. I don't want to have to buy another console.
Yeah. KOWA, $50 out your pocket equals DLC.
Fair.
Jonathan says, I agree with Kelly. Supposedly they're also working on a full-fledged Spidey game. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard that too. And Mark, you asked something in the chat, but you're on the show. Yes.
Well, I didn't want to interrupt from asking a little question.
So here's the thing with the PlayStation. They always say every single time that they announce a new console that it will have backwards capability and you should be able to play the older games. But every single time it finally comes out, it's not available like that. So they say this right now. I just don't believe them. And I won't believe them until it shows up and I can play a PS4 or PS3 game on the PS5.
I remember the PS3 came out. And there was a rare version of it that played PS2 games. Yes. And people tried to track that thing down and they couldn't. And I would like to be able to play my old PS2 games on my PS5 or my 3 or my 4. Yeah. Because I don't still have them hooked up. Yeah. Anyway,
I want to go upstairs to the bathroom and take a PSS. But anyway.
All right.
I know. JR is your, because I know you're not interested in gaming, but I know Spencer is. Didn't you get Spencer a PS4 similar to what Kelly did in 2018? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Is the boy interested in this?
I haven't heard him be interested in it, to be honest.
Yeah.
We've strangely enough, we've got a lot of other things going right now than video games. Trying to get
you're trying to get ready for college.
Yeah. So,
Mark, do you guys have a PlayStation?
No, we do not.
No. Okay. And George, you had a PS3, I think.
PS2.
Okay.
No, I had a PS3. I had a PS3.
What did you play on it? Did you play in the Spider-Man games?
No.
The Neil Patrick Harris one was really good.
The last Spider-Man game, or the last time I played Spider-Man in anything was in the that Ultimate crap. What was that?
It was
Ultimate Alliance.
Okay. You're talking about
Ultimate Alliance. I played it the last time or I take that back. No, the last time I played Spider-Man was in Marvel Heroes Online. That online game. In fact, I used to play that every now and then with like a couple of the folks from Crossbase, but that game doesn't even exist anymore. I'm not buying a PlayStation just to play one game. All the games I play now are PC. I'm pretty much a PC gamer, so if they made, even if they had made that other Spider-Man game for PC, I wouldn't have played it. I mean, my problems with that game have been pretty. I feel like I've been vocal now for years about it's just not my thing.
The story is weird. I've mentioned I don't like the spider bots. So
well, for me, it's not just. I mean, like the first thing they started coming out with was that crap costume with all the white on it and everything, and I'm like, I don't know what the hell this is. I mean, yeah. So giving me a story with Bendis character that I really don't have anything invested in doesn't really do anything for me.
Let's see. Let's move to the next topic. Neil is having computer problems, so I'm going to skip his news stories until we can get him on the line.
All right.
Let's see. So Kelly, I'm going to go back to you again.
Okay.
Silver and Black.
Okay, so
we have a description of the plot. Allegedly?
Well, no,
okay,
not really. So I think I figured out why this is coming back around. But so as you know, the original script kind of wound up in production hell in early 2017, and in August of 2017, it got leaked, and it was horrible. And I was reading the new stuff and I was like, why does this all sound like the 2017 plot? Because Gina Prince Bythewood, who was originally the director for this first pre-production situation, was involved with the Old Guard, the movie on Netflix that everyone is really, really liking. And apparently she has stated that she is open to talking to Sony again about working on this. And that's kind of where I think this is starting to come back around, because she was a part of the script process with Lindsay Beer and Geneva Robertson Duarte and Chris Yost and Lisa Joy, and because there were way too many cooks in the kitchen on the script, which was clear because if anybody doesn't know, essentially it was going to be Sable was a bounty hunter with ties to the U.S. Justice Department, and she needed to get to Felicia Hardy to bring her back to her paymaster. And Black Cat was basically, Felicia was going through experimental surgery by the hands of Mendel Strom and had AI tech to enhance her skills.
Here, real quick to interrupt you before it disappears. Vinkman, I just want to say thank you. Vinkman. Donated $5 on the super chat, so thank you for that.
Thank you.
Made the money.
$15 today.
Yeah, hey Vinkman, throw some of the rest of it our way. You know,
but yeah. So the thing it didn't sound like, it sort of sounded more like they kind of understood Sable, but they didn't understand Felicia Hardy. There was parts in that original script leak in 2017 that mentioned, let's see, what did I write? Because Scorpion and Tarantula as goons for Mendel Strom. The whole thing was bad. And that's kind of what's going on. And people are like, ooh, the script leaked again. They are starting it back up. This officially got canceled in 2018. Pre-production completely stopped. But because Gina Bythewood was so adamant on trying to get this together, and now she's doing something successful, people are saying,
ooh, the Old Guard movie?
Yeah, the Old Guard. Okay. People are trying to state, ooh, she's going to come back and talk to Sony, because she said that she would like to, and she'd like to make it quote unquote edgier.
Oh, okay.
I don't want her, I'll be honest, I don't want her anywhere near this movie. If they actually do Silver and Black, I don't want the script, and I don't really, as much as I like what she did in Old Guard,
that movie was good. We watched it. I liked it.
Yeah, it's really good, but it's
on Netflix.
It's more of like, I don't want this script anywhere near these two characters, because it's not Felicia at all.
Yeah.
This whole the AI situation. I can hear you, Neil.
Okay, thank God. I'm sorry.
Welcome, Neil.
God, I'm on my last brain cell right now.
It's okay.
Let's let Kelly finish.
Yep.
No, it's fine. But yeah, so that's really ultimately it. It's just the script was bad. I don't want this script anywhere near Felicia Hardy or Silver Sable. It needs something new. But if Gina wants to write a new script that maybe has more comic in it, then I would be interested to see what she does. But this is all from the old leaks. There's nothing really new there.
Let's open it up to the panel. Any thoughts on this? It's probably never getting made. What do you guys think?
Well, to start, Kelly, you mentioned that they want to make the script darker and edgier. And as the
Gina, hold on. Sony didn't say this. Gina Bythewood said this.
Well, that proved that she has that, like all of Hollywood, she wants to follow the Ultimate Universe, which, as George knows, never turns out good.
Yeah.
I mean, why would you base a movie off a universe that doesn't even exist anymore?
Well, I mean, Gina Prince Bythewood, like literally back in 2017, said she wanted it to be Thelma and Louise meets Midnight Run.
What the?
Is there a problem with
that? Is a quote. That is a quote from 2017.
Is there a problem with Hollywood writers and just like making a comic book movie? Like they have to like make it like some kind of Jason Bourne spy thriller. It worked with Captain America. It doesn't work with Black Cat.
Well,
Silver Sable.
No,
yeah,
it won't, and that's kind of the whole point. Like, I mean, the thing is as much as people keep pretending that this is still happening, the pre-production hell that it went through for 2 years was finished out the end of 2018. It hasn't been in pre-production since then. It's just the fact that the people that were involved with it for so long are now doing something successful that it's starting to come back up because they're like, well, maybe we can finally get it. I would love to see Silver Sable and Black Cat in a live action movie. The issue is this script by itself was horrid and it should not be made. So we'll see what happens beyond that.
Who was the schmuck who wanted to make a Madam Web movie? I feel like it's the same energy.
Sony.
Yeah.
No, like I remember they got like some big shot film writer who's up and coming now to make a Madam Web movie, and I
Yeah,
think the unanimous response was, "No one cares. Stop this before it goes any further."
So what I understand with that is, one, Jessica's most definitely going to be in the new Spider-Verse film as an animated character. So what they were going to do is they were going to have a Spider-Woman movie with Carpenter. And that's where Madam Web was coming in, and really she was a supporting character in it, but they were calling it the Madam Web movie to differentiate between the two Spider-Women, is what was happening. But again, we'll see where that goes too, because I'll be honest, I just don't see these happening, because I don't see Venom 2 doing well with everything going on right now, and that's really what's going to hinge on this happening.
I think a bigger test is if Morbius bombs. I think Venom already has a bigger following than any of the characters Sony's ever put a flag up the polls.
Yeah.
See if anybody salutes.
Venom was a freak accident. Like, it happened to it happened
We'll find out.
They put it on a weekend. Literally nothing else was coming out. Well, no, in October is normally notorious for, that's where you put your crappy movies to have some kind of fighting chance. But they figured out a weekend where nothing else came out that week but Venom.
Yeah.
And that's why it did well.
Adam, I don't know when Morbius is coming out. November, I think, last I heard, but that's going to be pushed.
It got pushed out. What I foresee is by the end of the year, it probably will be on demand, so you can buy it.
Yeah.
I don't see it coming to theaters.
I predict the theaters are going to open up as soon as everybody stops giving a crap about COVID after November.
It's scheduled to be released March 19th, 2021.
Okay. Yeah, they pushed Spider-Man into December of next year too, I think.
And nothing of value is lost.
Nothing of value is lost. Any other comments on the Silver and Black before we move on?
I don't know. It's like it's another one of these cases. Remember, like when Fox, right, had Fantastic Four, and they were like, "Yeah, we're gonna have Doctor Doom," except he's not Doctor Doom.
He's a gamer.
He's this gamer and blogger, and
that was awful.
Yeah, it's like this. It's like the stuff, the stuff that's like proven to work. Oh, I went fuzzy there. Is it's just stuff that's been out there, has been written for 40 years, for 50 years.
Yeah.
When you stray from that, that's when the fans aren't really going to support you on that. It needs to at least not only resemble, but it's got to feel like the character that you know in the comic book.
And there's a reason it's been around 40, 50 years.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So I mean, there are people that I like Silver Sable. I like Black Cat. I'm not going to see a Silver Sable Black Cat movie that doesn't have Spider-Man in it. Also, but I take that back. I see it for Marvel. I won't see it from Sony. Does that make sense?
If Marvel Studios made it, you'd see it?
If Marvel made it, I would see it.
I see.
Sony, I have no interest.
Well, see, I mean, I will say I differ there in the sense that I actually do trust Sony for the most part with Spider-Man. I mean, they really haven't steered us wrong other than Amazing Spider-Man, but that also had its problems in the beginning anyway. The issue is with the way their agreement is with Disney, it is harder. But at the same time, we don't know what's in the new agreement. So Spider-Man could be it, like, if they do start this back up in pre-production and do start up on a script, Spidey could be in it. But it also might not be Tom Holland Spidey. And I don't know we just don't know what's going on with that.
If they wanted to really cheat, they could just have Spider-Man and never take off the mask. It'd be the complete opposite of all the other movies where he always has to have an excuse to take the mask off to show the actor. This one, you just have the stunt double do it.
I remember the proposed Sinister Six movie was supposed to be like Spider-Man was made fun of by the Sinister Six, and he never takes the mask off. Then he gets the black suit, and I wanted to hurt myself. That was painful.
Yeah. Well,
by the way, again, thank you to Venkman again, making it rain. I mean, my goodness!
Wow.
There's a super chat available now if you'd like to add a donation to the site. That's really nice, Venkman. Thank you so much.
This is
New Mutants. New Mutants is still coming out August 28th in theaters. I don't know about that. I think I've heard it's going to be on Disney Plus.
I think it's Disney Plus at the end of August.
Let's move on.
The thing I wonder is, I was about to say, the thing I wonder is, I with all this stuff that's been going on, I realized I haven't missed going to the movies. Of course, then again, I'm a grouchy old man, but I'm just beginning to wonder if with the fears that are, even if the theater's open, is anybody want to go out and see a movie about nobodies? I mean, it's like you're going to have something big to bring people back. And
yes,
some of this crap that Sony is planning is like, who in the world is going to brave going to the theater to see this?
Well,
I'd go see a Spider-Verse sequel.
Well, see, but that's always going to be 2022. But the thing is lately all these rumors about what Sony's doing and not doing are not actually even coming from Sony directly. They're coming from these older writers that were a part of the original script who really haven't said anything other than, oh, I'm writing this script. And it's like, that's great, dude. But like, jackpot's never happening. I hope you understand. Or like with this, literally came out of just Gina Prince Bythewood was talking about her new movie on Netflix and just said, oh yeah, I did write that script in 2017. I would really like to work with Sony again and get that back off the ground. And then that's what spilled out. It's everybody's right now. There's no news. So everyone's pulling from everything, trying to find something to make news.
Yeah.
CBR.
Yeah. Well,
all right. We're moving on to another topic. This is Neil's. We're going to play this. This is the new King in Black trailer. We got Donny Cates and Ryan Stegman talking about their new King in Black with Null. By the way, Null is, if you translate it into what language?
It's in Swedish and it's an explanation.
If you translate it into Swedish, it's the F-bomb, which is what Null means. So take me through this, Neil. What's happening with this miniseries?
In another
the next big Marvel event.
In an event that could easily be made in a Venom arc, Null is coming some more. He was coming before, but he's coming again.
You know what? When this gets taken down off,
he's coming in your house.
When this gets taken down off
little Venom sperm.
What, Kelly?
Sorry.
And when this gets taken down from YouTube because we violated
whatever.
Hang on, Brad. Can you pause the image on that?
On which one?
On the cover. Yeah,
pause
it.
Cover.
Yeah, you're on it.
Oh. Okay, there you go.
Yeah, so look at all those titles that we didn't need to tie in, but we're doing it anyways because we want to sell more titles.
Because when I think Venom arcs, I think Captain America.
I can justify Spider-Man because he's literally the reason Venom exists.
But why is Cyclops there?
Because X-Men. The X-Men are big now. Do you know
the
Hulk of Swords, guys?
Look how small Spider-Man is on that cover and how huge Hulk and Cap are.
I was just about to point that out. I'm like, you've got all these people, and Spider-Man is the smallest one on there.
We have the Avengers. We have the Hulk. How many other titles do you think they're going to have Captain Marvel tie-in again, even though no one cares?
I mean, I love Ryan Stegman, but there's no way.
That art's beautiful, though, right, George?
If they just gave me this as a Venom arc, I would be eating this up. I've been loving Cates' Venom. I reviewed it. I'm the reviewer of it now. I eat this stuff up. But I'm not going to buy another event book just because Ryan Stegman's drawing it. This is intolerable. I don't usually say that these days, but this event
you and I and Kelly and several others on the satellite show liked Absolute Carnage. I thought it was well done.
Yeah, I did, but it doesn't help that it was well made. But it could have easily just been a Venom arc, but editorial decided to make it its own event with tie-ins. This is exactly the same problem, and I could buy it the first time and I could accept it, but this time it's not that it's gone over the line, but it's the same thing again. Marvel has learned nothing from their mistakes.
Well, the thing sold, that's why.
Yeah,
they didn't learn.
Well, we talked about this in the main review show earlier. It's just editorial seems to... Everything is always about marketing, and I get that on that level. They want to market because that helps push things out. It helps, try to generate new readers, but they're not thinking about it in a smart way. And that's kind of the issue, because right now we're experiencing the situation where DC hasn't learned anything from from the situation where we had to shut down, and they're trying to push everything out as hard as fast as possible, versus Marvel actually sat there and had to make cuts and had to look at things to fiscally be able to handle coming back into print.
Mm-hmm.
And it just doesn't feel like they're quite understanding what they need to cut and what they don't need to cut. And it's a little weird with this one, because this one didn't have to be this big.
Again, we're gonna have an X-Men time. We're gonna have an Avengers time, because those brands are popular right now.
Yeah.
If we learned anything from the Absolute Carnage, you can pretty much stick to the original 5 and trim off the fat, literally. And nothing really happened in those side titles that you had to read to understand the main book.
And not even the Web of Venom one-shots. No one cared about those either. They contributed almost nothing that wasn't explained in the Absolute Carnage book.
Yeah. George, I like what you just wrote. Anything with a checklist should be a hard pass.
I'm unironically enjoying Empire right now. It's been the main book is genuinely entertaining.
Yeah.
I'm not buying the tie-ins, but
Is anybody else besides Neil reading Empire? I'm not.
Nope.
6 months later when it's free.
Yeah.
Marvel Unlimited. Yep.
You'll get there's the thing, Mark. You'll get 3 issues in 1 month.
I pay them a lot of money every December for my giant yearly thing, because it's cheaper that way. So if it's not something I really need right now, I always wait.
I think I already know the answer from JR and George. They hate symbiotes and they hate tie-ins. So anything you fellas want to say, or should I just go to Mark?
What is King Black? What was that?
Okay, well let me explain. Okay, so
give him the what is it? DL?
Already, if you have to explain it to me, if I can't look at the cover and know exactly what it is.
Basically,
Johnny Cash comes back as a symbiote.
He's God but evil. He has all black the Necro sword.
It looks like
it looks planet, and they became good.
It looks like that. It looks like that bad redo of Dracula that they did like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
So, JR, you remember Planet of the Symbiotes?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. And help me, Neil, if I'm wrong. Wasn't Null inside the planets and the symbiotes wrapped themselves around the planet to keep him in?
No, the symbiotes were the planet.
The symbiotes are the planet, and they're holding Null in the center.
And so in Absolute Carnage, Eddie he stabbed Carnage with all black the Necro sword, I think, and the planet exploded. The symbiotes turned into tiny little sperm, and they flew away as Null flew on his giant symbiote dragon.
Wow. This is making JR run to his comic shop right now to pick this crap up.
I can see JR going in there tomorrow saying, just give me all the sperm comics you got.
No, hang on. If we're doing Christmas this year, we're getting JR the Absolute Carnage trade, so we can see the
Christmas is canceled this year.
The sperm planet explodes. Null flies on his dragon to capture
Jesus
the Humans.
Christ!
All right. The other thing, Neil, you've got this one too.
Oh, Spider-Woman?
Nope, we're going to do the Alex Ross variants, which are beautiful. So, let me skip the
Whoa. What was that?
I think we just woke George up. Okay, so there we go.
From my computer, I can't hear it.
So Alex,
fan was coming
get an ad blocker, jeez.
I have one. It's not stopping it. So go ahead, Neil. Tell me what's happening.
So Alex, there's not really much to say. Alex Ross is just doing a bunch of covers. He does this all the time. This is nothing new. It's just they're portraits now and not like giant set pieces.
Yeah, I'm looking at this and I'm like, okay, yeah, they're cool. I feel like I've literally seen this like 10,000 times now.
I will say that I didn't need to see Wolverine's face looking about to stab me. I don't need to see that, Brad. Stop.
Are you making fun of Planet of the Symbiotes? No. Are you over Alex Ross, George? Are you not a fan?
Buddy, I've been over Alex Ross for a very long time.
Oh, I love Alex Ross.
I've been over Alex Ross for a very long time.
Brad,
all I have to say is boob socks.
I still love Alex Ross, Brad. Doesn't mean I'm gonna go out and buy every single one of these variant covers.
An Alex Ross statue.
Holy cow!
Boob socks.
That's disturbing. That is disturbing.
It's Spider Girl by Alex Ross.
But I'm not seeing Spider Girl.
And her boobs are literally just sitting on it with like no support, no bra.
It's like she getting a mammogram or something.
Spandex does not work like that. Like, look, this is shirts. Shirts go over things. They don't like.
Mark,
Poop
I didn't hit you up about the Venom crossover. Are you interested in that, by the way?
No.
Well, that's man.
Brad's gonna make me review it for satellites. That's the only reason I care about it.
Well, no, I'm gonna have Tyler review it. It's a symbiote book.
Yeah,
This is Tyler's thing, man.
Well,
Am I the only one a fan of Alex Ross? I love his artwork.
I just said I
love his art, but
yeah.
It's
what's
not...
so special about this? I mean, that's the thing.
Yeah.
I think I like Alex Ross's Green Goblin and Spider-Man, but it's
Alex
like
Ross is he's a banging artist, but this
Neil,
is
you can't chew and
what's so
talk.
special about this?
Gross. Anyway, I just thought it was cool. That's why we.
Yeah.
Have it. If you haven't read Marvelocity, it's a great. It's like a. It's a. What's wrong, Mark?
I was just reading Hornacek's.
Oh, what did he say? Dark Mark is full of the hate JR sent him in the last video. Okay. They wasted Alex Ross on those ASM Volume 4 covers. I'll give you that, Adam.
Yeah.
I'll give you that.
He's a great.
I'm sure with JR and George on passing on the Empire storyline. Yes, you are. Don't choke Neil.
Don't worry. I choked
Not
on my own
an Alex Ross fan, with
ago.
exception when he drew. What's that? Gadgetman?
That's Battle of the Planets. That's what it was over in Japan. Gatchaman. Remember with all the
yeah.
Oh, the giant robots and stuff.
Yeah. And they all like wings, and they all had wings, and there was Princess and Tiny and all that.
If you get
originally called
next.
Yeah. If you get the Marvelocity book that Alex Ross did, I got it last Christmas. In the back is an original Sinister Six Spider-Man story that's not been printed anywhere. It's really, really good.
Except for there?
Yeah, it's only there, and it's like 10 pages. Are you making fun of me?
It has this cool story in it that's never been published anywhere except for that book.
Yeah. Let's move on. Okay. What do we?
Guys, stop making fun of me. Let's move on to a different topic.
Neil is going to do math.
Okay.
Let's get ready. Spider-Woman is hitting 100 after 40 years.
I'm not drunk enough for this.
So as we talked about in the comments section, Jessica Drew, she's going to 100 issues. Except none of the math we do makes sense if we're going to 100.
It's almost like they're kind of upset that they, it's almost like, here's the thing. Between Spider-Girl, Mayday Parker, and Wonder Woman, most female-led titles just don't make it to 100.
Yeah.
Those are kind of like your outliers, and most of the issues is maybe y'all need to write decent scripts.
Yeah.
Comic publishers.
So, Neil, take me through your math. How did they get to 100 allegedly?
Okay, so we have the 50 issues of her original series.
Okay.
7 issues of her Spider-Woman Agent of S.W.O.R.D. run, and we don't even know if that's being counted. The first 10 issues of the Dennis Hopeless run, which, as indicated by the writer's name, is hopeless in its ability to reach more than 2 trades. And then the post-Secret Wars one, which got 17 issues, so that's 27 plus 7 is 34, plus 50 is 87. Okay. Is my math right on that? Or am I just 84? 84.
Yeah, 84.
And then I tried to include Maddie Franklin's Spider-Woman run, which was 18 issues, but that adds up to 102, I think. I'm doing my math in my head, and I'm down to my last brain cell. So,
so the two numbers that you came up with were 84 and 102.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what happens when you take away the 7 Bendis ones, where it's called Spider-Woman Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D.?
Agent of S.W.O.R.D. And
Agent of S.W.O.R.D.,
it comes down to which one? Are we talking about the 84 figure or the 102 figure?
I guess if you take, I would do the 102 minus 7.
That's 95 issues.
Yeah, so they're 5 off no matter what math you do. And if you add the Maddie Franklin, it doesn't hit 100. I wonder if they're going to put it like a chart that they did when all these legacy numbers came out.
And if we're counting the new run, 89 issues, not counting Maddie Franklin's run. And I actually got really upset in the comments section when we were trying to dissect this.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but I got really mad.
Math is hard. To quote that Barbie from the 80s, math is hard.
Honestly, at the end of the day, you know who doesn't care if the math adds up or not?
Marvel.
They just want a Spider-Woman 100. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, look at the gimmick, guys. Look at the gimmick.
Yeah. It doesn't
Smile and
matter.
wave.
Also, there's a belly button on this costume, and
there's two of them.
There are two. So now,
it's like Mariette Hartley in Genesis 2. Wow.
Did Jessica get a piercing?
It's so clear that, okay, hey, we don't even care that this is fabric on a costume. It's body paint.
It's Greg Land. It's Greg Land.
Yeah, it's Greg Land. What were you going to say, George?
So Kelly was bringing up a point about titles with female characters not hitting 100. I mean, since the early Quesada years, there's no comic that's going to hit another 100.
No,
they renumber them every 2.5 years.
Exactly. Yeah.
So
I agree.
They're relaunching every year now. Guardians of the Galaxy has been relaunching yearly since 2017.
I mean, even DC did that crap. DC had the longest running titles ever.
They did.
And they threw that out.
And some of them cheated on their legacy numbering.
However, the Hulk legacy numbers doesn't even include the 6 issues of his original book back in the 60s.
Nope.
I remember that. I was like, why don't you count those? Anyway.
Marvel, again, to quote that Barbie from the 80s.
Yeah.
Which is also, I assume, Marvel's thing, math is hard.
Yeah.
So.
And what do you all think of the Jessica Drew character? I like her. I've always liked her.
Yeah, I love Jessica Drew.
She's fine when they.
The character.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, sorry. I was just going to say, it's not the character that's the issue. It's the fact that people don't seem to really understand what to do with that character.
I really liked her last series, and Neil, I think you liked it also, didn't you?
I liked it.
Yeah.
But the problem is that whenever they use her, are we counting Strike Force? Are they going to count Strike Force in that map?
I hope not. That book is horrid.
I'm just pulling numbers out of thin air, trying to figure out how to get to this magical 100.
Isn't that what West Coast Avengers became? What was that?
No,
the one with Strike Force has Blade and Monica Rambeau and Angel.
What if we took all these characters we haven't done anything with for the past 3 years and did something
and Bucky?
With them, but it was bad.
I'm thinking of that time, back in the mid to late '90s, whenever the West Coast Avengers became something else, and I can't remember what it was.
Force Works.
Force Works. Thank you. That's what I'm thinking. Okay, never mind.
That's not. Yeah, they actually with Dan Slott's Iron Man 2020. They brought back Force Works for about 3 issues.
We're not talking about Slott.
I'm sorry.
Not today.
Yeah, why would you do that, Brad?
Was her last series the one that had Porcupine in it?
Yes.
Oh yeah,
that was pretty good.
I
liked her. She became a mom, and you don't see that in the comics. I thought that was neat.
Well, imagine that Spider Hero with a child. That's interesting.
Yeah. All right, moving on to another topic. Mark, you got this one. Spider-Verse 2 is started production.
So I want to go back in time a little bit. 2018, December, my dad calls me up and says, "Hey, you and Grant want to go see that new Spider-Man movie?" I said, "Sure." So we go up to the theater. We're sitting there eating our popcorn, waiting. Mm-hmm. And the first trailer comes on. It's for some animated movie. The second trailer comes on. It's for an animated movie. Third trailer comes on. It's for an animated movie. My dad looks at me and says, "Oh my gosh, that's all they're putting out right now is animation. I hate animation." I said, "Dad, you do know this movie's an animated movie." What? So he had to sit through the whole. He did not enjoy the Into the Spider-Verse.
He didn't. Oh.
He did not. He's the only person I think.
What a contrarian!
This is the only Spider-Man movie that has won an Oscar.
It's true.
But not in my dad's viewpoint.
Well, your dad is wrong.
So, hey. No.
Wow. Okay. Neil just throwing the family insults around. All right. Your father is wrong. He's not Darth Vader, Neil. What are we talking about?
Your father is wrong, and so is your son.
So this article is about the upcoming sequel for Into the Spider-Verse. There's not a lot about it, and there's mostly just speculation. What the article is dealing with is Chris Miller, because Miller and Lloyd, they produced the first one, and they're producing the second one.
And they did the Lego movie, right?
They did the Lego movie. They also
screwed up the Solo
creative.
Movie.
Yeah, well, they were creative forces behind Clone High on MTV. That's really where they got their big animation break.
And the Jump
So yeah,
Street
they did a
films.
good job with the first one, and so they're giving tracking again. And what the whole buzz right now about it is a Twitter little tweet that he put out that said the development of new groundbreaking art techniques being done for the next Spider-Verse movie are already blowing me away. It's going to make the first movie look quaint.
That's awesome.
So I went through his Twitter feed all the way back to April trying to find some of these steals that it said that were released, but I couldn't find anything except for a bunch of crap.
There's no stills that are actually been released. What they did was a bunch of people took screenshots of the announcement trailer.
Is that him with Mr. T?
But they took announcement stuff from the trailers, and then they everybody's been trying to dissect who the different characters will be, which I don't believe that there's going to actually be 21 different characters. So that's kind of where that's coming from on them saying that. They're like, ooh, the stills. They were never official stills in the first place. It's just different.
Yeah. Okay, that makes more sense because there's really, like I said, there's almost all speculation out there.
Yes, it is 100% speculation.
Hang on, Brad. Where did the article come from?
It came from a tweet from the.
It came from
where
CBR.
Where did the article?
CBR.
Okay, that explains why a tweet is news.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh. Well, we do find out a few things about Spider-Verse, not from this particular article, but
found out about Spider-Verse 1 or 2?
2.
Okay.
It's directed by Joaquin dos Santos. I know I'm messing that name up. Yeah. He's known for superhero animation and Avatar and Korra and Voltron, so he's got some background there. We know that David Callahan is one of the writers. He's writing the Shang-Chi movie and was one of the writers on the Wonder Woman 1984 movie. Mm-hmm. We know that Chris Anka is one of the artists. That doesn't give me a lot of hope because he's the guy who screwed up Spider-Woman's costume.
Oh, what the current one?
He's the one who designed. Oh, sorry. You want to take this one, Kelly?
Oh, I was just gonna say he more than likely him being on board means Jessica Drew's there, which has kind of been a given because that's one of the characters Sony has pushed hardcore as in the sequel. The whole is going to be a female-led sequel, which I don't see that still happening, but because that also came from what's her face.
Real quick, Adam wants to know if George and JR have seen Spider-Verse yet. JR has, right? Mm-hmm. What'd you think of it?
Well, I mean, we had a show about Spider-Verse or whatever, and y'all made fun of me, and I went and cried.
Okay, and it's just not George's thing, if I remember correctly.
I mean, I like Spider-Man.
Yeah,
I like Spider-Man. From everything that I've listened to you guys talk about it, and everything I've heard about the story and everything, it's not Spider-Man.
It's a Miles story with a 45-year-old Spider-Man in it.
It's
not 45.
It's not a Peter Parker.
He's like 37.
Movie. It's not a Peter Parker. It's not a Peter Parker movie. It's a Bendis character that I couldn't give two craps about.
Yeah.
It's Sony. Mm-hmm. If they had done a Spider-Ham movie, I'd have gone to see animated movie. I'd have gone to see that. If they'd have done a Miguel O'Hara Spider or animated movie, I'd have gone to see.
Miguel should be involved in this one.
That's not enough to pull me in to see all this other crap.
I will say this, George. It made me care about Miles for once.
Well, that's great. I'm glad.
They fixed a lot. So the first movie script fixed a lot of Bendis issues from Miles's original origin.
I'll give you that. I'll give you that.
Bendis.
Although the very end after the credits is almost worth the price of admission.
I agree with that.
Made me laugh.
Yes,
that was very clever. That was very clever.
That was really funny.
Well,
and it involved Miguel. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other thoughts on this, Mark?
I still have some stuff.
Okay, go ahead.
Shamik Moore is going to be doing his voice for Miles again. And since you didn't see the Miles thing, George, Shamik Moore is the guy who did the voice of Zart on the Elf on the Shelf movie. So I'm sure
I know who that is.
I didn't know he did Elf on the Shelf.
It looks like it's going to be focused
Miles
on the
and
Miles and Gwen relationship. That's what this movie is supposed to be all about.
See, that's another thing right there. For me, Gwen's a corpse. For me, Gwen works best as a corpse, and so that's another thing that's
yeah.
So,
well, I was
so
also
George,
going to say that thing about it focusing on Miles and Gwen's relationship came from Amy Pascal, who is not actually anywhere near involved in this. So we don't actually know what the real script is. Because let's be fair here, she used to pop off and just say whatever the heck she wanted to say.
No, I don't know why anybody at Sony lets Pascal talk at all.
Yeah, well, she's not
because she has money. And
legitimately,
power.
I don't understand it.
She's not even supposed to be talking about anything with Sony anymore because unofficially, like she's basically been ousted. I think she's still there.
She's still a producer there.
Yeah, she's a producer, but all that means is she gave money. She signed something saying, yes, my name can be on this loan to produce this movie.
She was the brainchild. She was the brains behind Ghostbusters 2016, wasn't she?
Yeah,
real quick.
Hang on. Real.
The three other things I saw was that the Japanese Cepeda man is supposed to be possibly in it.
That's fun.
The female Dr. Octopus might be making a comeback for it. And apparently Lord Miller put a dolphin in every movie they make.
Yeah, and that's another thing. It's all from that crap slot story.
Yeah.
Remember that went on for too long, and we made fun of here for God how many months?
Yeah.
Remember everything from he smelled Spider Girl from across space or whatever, or Spider
Silk. It was Silk.
Yeah,
whatever. Silk came out of a cavern, and he smelled her, but he couldn't.
He smelled her from across space and time. Okay.
I'm just hoping that like if Silk is in this movie, if Silk is in this movie, with it being kind of more focused on Spider-Gwen's universe, because she has Cindy Moon as a villain, and if they use that and they show, hey, here's Silk as a good guy, and she needs to basically beat her bad self, that could be an interesting movie. And saying the choices you make can determine, your outcome. That'd be fun. But
it was a fun crux of
that
the
if Sony will actually do, but see, that would be
too hard.
Will Sony use that? Will they not? We don't know until we see it.
All right, we're going to move on to another topic. George, you've got this one. You can invest in Amazing Fantasy 15. Talk about that.
Yeah, so this company called Mythic Markets, they do this thing where they'll go and they'll buy something really valuable and let you own a share of it. Like you pay them to buy a share of it, and then so you have a stock certificate. It's like buying stocks.
Yeah, but comics,
except for nerds. So, so as it continues to appreciate in value, and the stuff that they're buying, the first thing they bought was like some kind of Magic the Gathering thing from like 1994. It was like a sealed booster pack or something like that, or like one of these blister things, and they bought that for like $55,000.
Okay.
And so people can buy shares in that, and so as that thing appreciates, so your shares will go up in value. So this time around, they're going to buy a copy of Amazing Spider-Man or Amazing Fantasy 15 that is CGC graded.
Okay, that's a valuable comic
at 7.0, and it hasn't been. It's in good condition. It hasn't had to be retouched or restored or anything like that. From Metropolis Collectibles, that's who they're buying it from, and they're paying $92,000 for it.
Oof.
And there's going to be 2,000 total shares. Each one of them are going to be worth like $46. So if you got $46 and you're one of the people that can get in on the ground floor on this thing, you'll pay however money. You can pay 10 shares. You drop $460, and then as this thing continues to appreciate in value, which it will, because it's not something that came out 10 years ago. It's actually legit. It's a legitimate collectible, not some crap Marvel variant cover that someone's going to sell on eBay. Then your stock will go up as well.
Okay.
So it's kind of on the one hand, it's an interesting idea, on the other hand, I also kind of hate it. I feel like comics ought to be bought by people, that love them and like this, like you get a stock certificate. I mean, basically that's all you're doing is buying a stock certificate. You're not buying the issue or even it's a way of saying, "Oh, I own a piece of the issue," which means you don't have the issue at all.
Yeah.
I don't want to own part of it. I want to own the whole thing.
Exactly.
I mean, from a money standpoint, I get it. From a collectible standpoint, I hate it.
Yeah.
It sounds like an utter scam. It's like
that's what Grant said.
I want Amazing Fantasy 15, but I can't afford it. Aha! I'll scam 1,000 people into giving me a few bucks, and I'll own it, and they'll have paid for it.
Is this called a pyramid scheme? I'm not a financial guy.
No, okay, so it's not like an MLM because they're not promising anything out of it. Like they're just essentially saying, hey. It's just like buying stock in the stock market, like George said. So it's essentially you're buying stock into it, and then when they sell it later on, if they ever do sell it, then you should get something back.
Yeah.
But
there's no oversight.
Again, exactly. This is a little weird, and
Bruce. Bruce has a question. How do you cash in your stock? That's interesting.
That's what I was saying. Yeah.
I guess you just sell it back to them, or you sell to somebody else. I don't know. That's a good question, though.
Yeah.
This is just slightly, and I say slightly, I mean like 1/10 of a percent more legitimate than that thing where you could buy a star and name it after you. Remember, Brad? We were
Yeah.
Yeah,
we'll do that. I think
that's essentially what this is. I kind of agree with JR. Like this is essentially just they want to get the copy, so they feel like if they do this, then they can say, "Oh, hey, you own this." But let's be fair. How is this really going to work?
Yeah.
Oh, hey, that reminds me. Anybody ever buy those staples that guy took out of his Amazing 15?
Grant is saying that these guys are scams. He's heard about them buying other investments, and it was Magic the Gathering cards or something like that. Anyway,
probably. Like I said, this it doesn't sound legitimate. So I would say don't do it. Like unless you're gonna figure out who all is stealing stock, and then you like slowly get rid of them and buy their stock out to then own it. I don't see where this works.
It goes back to a thing I've had problems with is I don't own a single CGC graded comic. Because eventually, I would like to have the opportunity to look at the book and the story and the site. I don't want it framed on a wall. I call that a poster. I mean, I don't understand the CGC draw. Do you guys own any CGC comics or anything?
I wouldn't want to.
I don't either.
I contemplated getting one framed. I don't remember what it was.
Yeah,
but I stopped myself because I saw the price to get it graded. I was like, hell no, that ain't worth it.
My thing is like somebody like you can buy. I think now it's about $45 for What If 105, but if it's CGC graded online, it can go for $95, which is basically to get it CGC graded, up to like $350, and it's just very wild because the moment you see CGC, someone thinks that they can overprice it and slap on whatever price that they want, and a new comic book reader who thinks that means a damn buys it up, and to me it's another scam essentially.
Bruce has an interesting comment. He says someone paid $500 or more on eBay for a Spiriture, which is Stan Lee's autograph done by a medium after his death. A copy of Foom magazine #1.
Wow. Did they pay? Did they pay extra
world, Bruce?
Did they pay extra for the magic?
Wow!
Oh my gosh!
Getting the spirit of Stan Lee into this Sharpie. I can't imagine.
God, Brad!
How much money could I get?
Brad, hang on, Brad. Oh
what?
God!
Oh, you're getting possessed.
Brad, Stan Lee is entering my body right now. Oh my God! I'm having a psychic moment, Brad, with Stan Lee. Hang on. Yes,
What is he saying to you?
Hell.
He's saying that this was the stupidest thing he's ever heard of. He wants me to write it out. Hang on, Brad.
Okay.
Hey, while you got him, ask him if that was Ditko in that picture that Brad saw.
Oh yeah,
it's all coming through. Dear person who spent too much money, you're an idiot. Raw WTF.
WTF.
Real Stan Lee. It's writing itself. I'm not even moving my hand. Also, it says, no, Brad, that wasn't Steve Ditko with the beer hitting on that young chick. Get over yourself.
Speaking of JR, I think you can see the ghost of Steve Ditko entering your body.
I will now sell this. I will now go sell this on the eBay.
Okay, good
Okay,
job.
great.
There you go, Bruce. There you go.
Hey George, can we get a cut of that if you get $1,000 for it?
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys
I'll
want to
buy
buy
it
a
in
share
stock.
of that right now?
Yeah. There we go.
Yeah.
JR, are you feeling the movement of Ditko? Or was that just a taco?
All
Guys, I'm feeling
is,
that Kirby energy. Kirby's in me.
Oh, Kirby hands.
The Kirby hands. The Kirby hands is coming up.
Y'all.
Oh my gosh, that went sold by a longtime seller of lots of rare Marvel memorabilia. Hard to believe.
I will say, Brad,
Yes, sir.
that because a few years back I wound up just selling my collection altogether, and there were a few like on the bigger ticket items, the things that were actually worth money more than just like a quarter over the cover or whatever. They did a lot on a lot of those issues. They would come back and ask me like, is this EGC graded? So that's like if that's if that's what you're into, if you're like a house flipper except with comics, then I guess that's important.
That's a comic house flipper. That's a great
No,
line.
people do that. People really do. Like they'll buy out, especially CGC graded. They'll buy these out, and then they'll hold on to them for about 6 months to a year, and then they'll try and flip them for about twice what they're worth. And like I said, normally it's newer comic readers who want something original or something older that they feel is important, and they will pay way more money than they should be paying for it because that they don't know any better.
Yeah. I like what Jonathan said. Brad
Status
finally got
symbol.
the Ditko appearance on the crawl space he wanted. It had to be possessed.
I'll channel Ditko for you for $500.
How about that's the Halloween special right there.
The Ditko Halloween special.
Kirby left my body, but he left me a note.
Oh my gosh! Oh, hold on. Kirby wrote something out for Neil.
Yes,
You're a moron.
he left
You're an
my
idiot.
body.
You're not Kirby.
Get it on the eBays. Get it on the eBays.
Yeah, boy.
Get it on the eBays. Okay.
I'll buy a share. I'll buy that for $1.
Oh my god! All right, that was a good little topic, George. I like that one.
God.
Let's see what else we want to do.
We're all going to hell. We're going to be in that.
Well,
we were already headed.
Prelude.
This is just accelerating the journey.
So if we're already going to hell, we might as well go to this next topic. Mark, exposing Spider-Man. Go.
Whoa.
Whoa. So is this news?
It is before the time of COVID. Is February 27th. It's a Thursday, 7:00 in the morning in Manassas, Virginia, when a 44-year-old woman was driving. Now, I don't know where she was going because the news article didn't say, but I did some look at the map around this area, and maybe she was going to her work, or maybe she was going to Northern Virginia Community College. Maybe she was heading to the Cracker Barrel nearby to grab herself a Cracker Barrel's Country Boy breakfast.
I would go to the Cracker Barrel.
The country ham and the fried apples. But we'll never know because before she got there, she hit a stoplight. And we're at the Sudley Road and Bullock Drive intersection, and a 4-door sedan pulled up next to her. Now she glances over. Maybe she's a little Southern hospitality. Maybe she's just curious, or she's just a little lonely old woman. I don't know. But whatever she was hoping to see was not what she saw. All right? Because the driver of the aforementioned 4-door sedan was wearing a Spider-Man costume. He then proceeded to expose himself. Pulled out the old web shooter. And
okay, I've got some questions about
made
this
an
costume.
obscene gesture.
I've got some questions.
We'll get to that. We'll get to that.
We'll get to that.
Okay.
Let Mark go through it. Mark go.
The report then says that he rolled down the window and, quote, further exposing himself. Then the light turned green and he drove off.
He exposed herself more by rolling down the window.
That's where the article ends. That's where the article ends, but I was not going to leave it there because I had questions of my own, and I knew Brad was expecting something here.
Thank you.
So the first thing I did was look up what the temperature was, because we're talking February 27th in Virginia, 7 o'clock in the morning. And the temperature about that point was 30 degrees. So this particular flasher was quite daring, and I'm sure quite confident that the cold would not ruin this experience here.
That's a power move.
Shrinkage is the thing you have to worry about.
I only know one Spider-Man cosplayer. So Chi-Town became my number one prime suspect.
What? You just put Peter in that story?
I am offended.
Well, I mean, you gotta
Elliot, you don't want to end the
getting,
story.
He's been getting more
I
letter
don't.
pages than usual, so it all makes sense. I want to see where Mark is going with this.
Okay,
This-
Mark,
this
go.
makes
Where
sense.
we?
Okay.
What
I
did Peter have to
immediately
do with this?
Facebook messaged him and asked him a few questions. I wanted to obtain his whereabouts. He
Were you on
claims
the
he was
night of-
he claims he was
Oh,
taking
he's
his
a
kids to
suspect.
school. I am checking up on the alibi because 7 o'clock seems a little early for me driving his kids to school. And then I wanted to know if his costume was a onesie or if it was a shirt and pants type thing, you know.
They don't.
And he claims that it's a onesie. So
Yes.
We do need to see
I'm
it,
thinking
though,
that
just to prove
Hey,
it.
Okay, that's what I was gonna ask because, like I said, I don't know a single cosplayer or a single costume that is a shirt and pants combo.
I don't think this was a cosplayer.
Ah,
I think this was a Halloween special.
well, yeah, and
the
what
Halloween
gets me
costumes aren't
is
like that. That's just one thing through the zipper. So that's what I was saying. Like how, like did he cut holes out of it? I'm lost.
well, Kelly, the
There
thing
was a lot of
too is
finagling.
that he's in a car. He's in the driver's seat. So I'm really not sure how she sees, and I'm not quite sure how rolling the window down exposes him further.
Was the guy driving down the road and already had his junk out, and you know, like maybe he's just enjoying the drive, and he's like, "Hey, I'm Spider-Man, and I got my junk."
Well, I'll tell you what, George. I contacted
just a
the
really
Prince
weird
William
arm.
Police Department.
No, you did not.
What?
You did not. You called
I
the
did
police
too.
department?
Actually called the
I
police
contacted the
department?
Prince William Police Department.
Oh no.
And Officer Renee Carr was kind enough to answer my question.
This is the kind of journalism you no longer get at CBR.
Exactly.
CBR used to do this.
Did
Oh
we
my
ever
God,
actually
Mark.
get this from
There
CBR?
was a time
Okay, I
when
want
CBR
to hear
actually
what the
did
detective said.
legitimate reporting. Yes,
What did the detective say once you got him on the
I
phone?
find that hard
and-
to believe, George.
it's true.
Well, she said that she could not give me a copy of the report. I was wanting the actual police report, and she could not give me a copy of that.
Should have requested
It's
Freedom of
public
Information
record,
Act on
But-
it.
she did
Freedom
tell
of
me, she did
Information
give
Act
me
about
the,
Spider-Man's junk?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Mark. I didn't mean to talk about you. Go ahead.
By the way, the chat is going nuts. You said Adam says you always cite your sources. Please tell me Officer Renee Carr is in the chat. Yep, let's bring the officer into the chat. Jonathan says investigative reporter Dark Mark has got the scoop on the junk exposure. Okay.
I am ready for Daily Bugle.
So what did they tell you?
But she did tell me,
Oh my God.
well, all the information that she gave me was still fairly sanitized. I couldn't find out what the obscene gesture was. I really wanted to know what the obscene gesture was. I'm betting that it was just a whip sign, and the lady thought it was a devil sign or something like that. You know, but it could have been something different.
With his junk.
And I'm kind of curious if the guy
His
had a
junk has
web diaper
fingers.
on. You know, if he was like really going into to full continuity here. But there was no answers to that question either. But she did let me know that this rogue Spidey has not been apprehended yet. And I asked if there were any other reports of a similar nature, and she said no. So it was just a one-time flashing. But
So it was a one-shot issue.
It was one.
It was a one and done.
Now,
One and done.
Chi-Town claims he's never been in Manassas, but I'm still thinking about calling the tip line. In fact, anybody knows any
Tip line?
information, you call
No, bad
Why did you
choice of
want to
words.
call it
703.
the tip line?
Not the tip line.
703-792-7000 if you need to report somebody. And I'm thinking if we can all get together and call that number and report Chi-Town, we can have a very interesting next podcast.
You have seen this exposing Spider-Man in North
You would
Virginia.
do that to his family? Mark?
If we could all get together to do that, then we'd all
Yes.
have a share in it.
It's kind of like the Amazing Final Fantasy 15
After
share.
all he's done for
Excessive
you,
internet
after making you that cable.
KOW, don't call the Virginia Police Department. Please do not.
Do not.
703-792.
No. Do not call the damn police and say Chi-Town.
We got bigger problems than exposing
Good grief.
We don't need to file a false police report. That's a terrible idea.
I forget who said it, but someone is saying that the spirit of JR has now entered Mark with the exposing stories. Oh, here it is.
Quick, write a spiriture.
There you go. JR spirit is possessing Dark Mark.
How about them pumpkin bombs, though?
Listen. JR would never have called. JR would never have called the police department to get a statement on the record.
Yeah.
No, okay.
So,
Real
JR, I think JR would have said this story sucks, and we would have moved on.
real quick. I've made some terrible decisions in my life, and George can attest to this because he's seen me make most of them in the last.
I've seen a lot of them.
Yeah, Mark, this is probably one of the weirdest decisions I've ever seen anyone make. And I can say that as someone who's made an excessive number of terrible life decisions.
Adam says this is Sony's next Spider-Man movie pitch.
Probably.
It's a film noir thriller, The Flashing of the Spider.
So I usually would have given this topic to JR. JR, what are your thoughts on the exposing Virginia Spider-Man? Deep breath.
Well, at first when they were talking about the 30-degree weather or whatever, I thought we were going to be talking about frozen dong or something. But
why did you two kick us off the last time for nothing? And to be kicked off tonight.
Okay, we're moving on. Good job, Mark, with the additional research you put into that one. My God,
I would like to.
Adam, love it when the show goes blue.
I would like to point out that as Chi-Town has begun taking my place as an ASM reviewer, I think that's the reason Mark is pinning the blame on Chi-Town. He wants to get rid of the competition. So I got out while it was still available to do it. So.
George has this next competition. This is from NPR. This student got a call from Disney. Take me through this one, JR.
Yeah.
I mean,
he didn't get a call from Disney.
He got a tweet from Disney.
He got a tweet from Bob Iger. So Julian Bass, he's into the social media. As a young guy, he's 20 years old. Mm-hmm. So he's on every social media there is, the Twitters, the TikToks, the Meow Meow Beans, everything. All right.
What? Meow Meow Beans?
Now see if Ashley had been here, Ashley would understand what the hell I was talking about.
Okay.
Meow Meow Beans was a fake social media thing from Community season 5. Anyway. Okay. And then a hierarchy formed based on how high you were ranked in Meow Meow Beans. Anyway. Okay. So yeah, he's on the Twitters, the TikToks, the whatevers. And he makes a video using his own special effects. I guess this is what After Effects or whatever whatever they're using. And he does all these different characters and everything from Star Wars to the Ben 10 to Spider-Man. And he's like, retweet this until Disney calls me. And that's a thing that a lot of people do. On Twitter. A lot of times it's never even seen. Sometimes when it is, it gets you free chicken nuggets for life from Wendy's. So people.
It's pretty based. I want some extra chicken nuggets.
I would take some right now. Anyway, so this gets retweeted a lot. Gets a lot of attention. Mm-hmm. Like 1.4 million views on Twitter. And then Bob Iger. Outgoing Disney CEO, although he's still technically co-CEO.
Yeah.
Because he was trying to get out right when all this COVID business started. Mm-hmm. And so Bob Iger tweets him and says, "The world's going to know your name." And I'm like, that's cool. How about a job?
I was like, that's what he wants.
Yeah, I'm like, that's cool. Like you have you own a colossal media company. You can't fit this guy in somewhere, like after he graduates, give him a job in the special effects department, do something.
Well, I mean, honestly, they keep outsourcing to South Korea, so unless he wants to.
Well, everything's outsourcing to India. Yeah. But so they so yeah, Bob Iger tweets him, and then NPR, which itself is clickbait, runs a story on it and everything. And I'm thinking, that's great, Bob Iger. You get a tweet, Bob Iger's, hey, way to go, and then everyone knows your name. And I'm like, how many times we see these things go viral, and we've forgotten who the hell the person is in 2 months?
Yeah.
I forgot his name before the week even ended. So
I'm like, okay, that's great. You got a tweet from the Disney CEO and all, and that's perfect. But Bob Iger, what gives? You get now at the same time, Disney can't really hire anybody right now because COVID has slammed them disproportionately harder than a lot of other companies. Disney's having a cash problem right now, so they can't really go hiring him because they can't hire anybody right now. So I don't know. I mean, that's what happened. I mean, good for him for getting noticed, but I wish, because it was very creative.
Yeah,
very well done.
Great job.
I loved it when the lightsaber like slashed apart the thing on the screen. That was really cool.
Yeah.
I just think it could have had a more impactful response from Bob Iger. Is all.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got a little, maybe a toe in the door, not a whole foot, but he could.
It's gotta hurt.
He could potentially contact Disney and say, hey, you know what? I talked to the CEO and maybe I can.
He didn't talk to the CEO.
Well,
he posted something
tweeted.
And
then the CEO retweeted it. That's not.
Yeah, which isn't a whole lot. I mean, ultimately what he did was he got his name out there.
Yeah, that's
so
true.
When he is putting out his resumes and his animation reels, maybe he will wind up, on that Google search. They will find, they'll find this video and want to do something with him. And it's good that he went viral, but also most animators, name doesn't really, you don't know who really animates this. So it's a weird thing, but at the same time, he can make a heck of a lot of money just being a TikToker. So.
Well, and real quick, I'm sorry.
I was just going to point out he's actually a theater major. I guess he was just doing the special effects stuff on the side. But at the same time, either way, I'm like, Bob, you can't get him a walk on in something for crying out loud. I mean, come on, Bob.
I would also like to point out that even if he did special effects work freelance, Disney would probably just take it anyways because they have this notorious problem at Lucasfilm where they just take fan work. They steal Fractal Sponge's work and put it in their official published work without crediting him.
They do.
So
and then when you try to say, hey, that's my work, then they'll sit there and go, oh, really? Do you want us to slap you with a lawsuit for selling stuff? Or yeah.
Another thing that went viral, I'll take this one. This young man saved his sister from a dog bite. And he got bit himself on his cheek, and several celebrities have come and said, you are a true hero. Robert Downey Jr. stepped up. Chris Evans sent him a Captain America shield, and our own Spider-Man, Tom Holland, who that's his favorite character, called him on the phone. So I can pull this up. It's up on Instagram. And you can't really hear what Tom Holland is saying, but it's they did captions on this video I'm showing right now. He talks about how I'm really proud of you, and your little sister is so lucky to have such a brave little brother. And Tom Holland essentially invites him out to the third Spider-Man filming, so the kid can go out and see them film the movie. So this is more than Bob Iger did for the other kid.
Yeah.
It is.
But I just think it's so nice. And look at how happy he is. I mean, the little boy's a hero. Saving his sister from a dog bite. And I think it's so nice for the actors that played heroes to do something nice for this young man. So I think that's such a nice little story.
Yeah, Chris Evans, I think, is sending him a movie shield.
Yep. Captain America's shield. And I love he's wearing the Spider-Man jammies right here when he's talking to Spider-Man on the phone. So just a nice little story. This one's been making the media rounds too. I don't know if you guys have seen this one. But
I hadn't seen this. I didn't know about the Spider-Man part. I heard about the kid earlier this week. I guess earlier this past week. And that was a pretty dramatic story, especially like when they were talking to the kid, and the kid was like, I thought this thing was going to kill my sister, and I would rather it kill me.
Yeah.
I was like, oh man. I was like, wow, that's
that little boy. and we may have disagreements on the show about the direction of Spider-Man and the MCU and Iron Man Jr., But this legitimately, Tom Holland,
Well, I mean,
class act.
He's a good guy.
I mean,
yeah.
I mean, you can have problems with the film and the way that Sony's doing the character and everything else like that. I've said many times that the problems with the MCU Spider-Man are many and numerous. None of them are Tom Holland. Tom Holland shows up and does exactly what they ask him to do.
Yes.
Yeah.
But no, this was a class act. And this is something that Garfield did.
Yes.
You know, back in the day as well. So good on both of them. Good.
I would agree.
Yeah, with Batboy or whatever, wasn't it?
Oh, I remember Batboy. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I don't think Andrew Garfield did Batboy. I think that was something else.
He wound up. I think he went up like going and taking the kid to the Oscars with him or something like that.
Yeah, I think so.
I don't remember that, but that's cool.
I can't remember now. We covered it on here.
I mean, Garfield was going out in his suit before it became like the hot thing to do and go to the children's hospitals. He would dress up and go to the children's hospitals all the time.
Yeah.
And I
Johnny
don't mean
Depp did that too for Pirates.
I don't mean to badmouth Tobey Maguire, probably because social media wasn't as big when Tobey Maguire was around.
He could have been doing it and we just don't know. So
exactly.
Yeah.
So
and plus back then, because you have to think that was almost 20 years ago now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And social media wasn't a big thing at the time, and so stories like this didn't spread as the way that they used to.
Exactly.
Back then, the way they do now. So.
But it's a nice thing to do. Granted, it's good publicity for the actors too. But it's just a generally nice thing to do for another human being.
Yeah.
Another topic I'll take, and I'll have you guys react to it. So I'm going to add this. This is a gross still. Look at this. Okay, here we go. Facebook and YouTube. Can you guess what this is? What do you? Oh, there's slime.
It's Venom. Okay.
There's a 100-foot long tongue.
100-foot long tongue. What are we looking at?
Does he say brains?
Knock knock to the devil in.
Is this a fan costume?
No.
Okay.
Is it a sideshow collectible?
This is a Venom gingerbread man. It's Venom made out of gingerbread.
It looked like there's inner demons from the.
Yeah. Would anybody? Yeah. I've got. There's the still of it. That's a gingerbread man Venom. The statue of Venom. Nope. JR, you serving that at Thanksgiving?
Gingerbread's Christmas, Brad.
Oh, I'm sorry. Hold on. Take two. JR, you serving that at Christmas? No.
I think he woke JR up from his nap.
I woke JR up.
So, I mean, it would kill me because I can't have gluten, and I'm sure it's made with wheat, but I would eat it if I could.
I don't like gingerbread things.
I'd eat the tongue. That's it. I don't need
You'd eat
anything else.
That's it. Out of context.
Wow.
Oh, that's odd.
All right.
That's all I need.
What an edgelord.
All right.
Save the tongue for me.
Venom crossed with the xenomorph. Yeah, that's what it looked like. Yeah. Let me go back to the I can go back to the Instagrams. There you go. There's some other pictures of her painting it. Oh, look at the tongue over here is over on the left.
That takes some artistry, especially like it's being baked like that.
Oh, I know. Yeah, that's just crazy.
That's like a bold in the dark science there, gingerbread baking.
Like, shoot.
Wow. Ooh, what is the slime? I wonder what that is.
Probably sugar.
Oh, drizzling sugar.
Yeah.
Are you guys have you guys ever baked anything crazy before? Cookies.
Yeah, I've done
pumpkin bread.
I did like the rainbow cake back when that was a big thing.
Yeah.
But that's just food coloring.
Right. JR, are you a good baker?
Oh, absolutely.
You are.
Absolutely. I'm a master chef.
Really? Are you putting me on? What do you make?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I just made myself a bowl of crunch berries earlier today or whatever, and
I had
pretty damn good bowl of crunch berries too.
I had the whole hook in my mouth when you reeled me in. I mean,
I watched it happen. I know where
it was like an ESPN special. All right, so I think that's all the topics before I hand it over to JR. All right, hold on.
Well, you sound like
This just makes it easy for me to edit out the end. He goes blue.
Why don't we just give this to Mark? I mean, he was doing such a good job being me earlier. Why don't we just?
No, I want to see the master at work.
The master. Okay, we're gonna do trashy Spider-Man. Let's do this one, JR. Take me through trashy Spidey in Indonesia.
Yeah. All right. Well, first of all, boys and girls, and here, I want to give like everybody a geography lesson here, Brad. So get trashy Spidey off there for a minute.
Okay, got it.
All right. Because
all right. Here comes the master.
Yeah, because I want to show you, exactly what we're talking about. You see, because Indonesia is like an archipelago, okay, and it's like all these little dots here. Things sticking out of the water, that's called an archipelago or whatever.
Okay.
And it's like south of here's like China, and here's Japan, and this is like the Filipinos right here, and this is like Indonesia something or other. Okay, so there's that. All right.
Oh my God, 2 of the people left.
Kelly couldn't take it.
Kelly and George left the.
Anyway, so this
Brad,
happened.
would you be entertained by garbage?
Oh, I think if I would have left, it would have been funny too. Go ahead, JR.
So anyway, this happened in Pare, Pare. So it's a place so nice they named it twice. So it's Pare, Indonesia, Reuters. Okay. And basically this Indonesian cafe worker who, was looking for a tree to hug, and he couldn't find any there in Indonesia because it's like just out there in the middle, a bunch of things sticking up out of the ocean. So there are no trees. So he couldn't find any trees to hug. Well, wait a minute. What's that back there? I don't know what that is. Anyway, so, he was, so he was
picking up trash.
Yeah, he was he thought he was stuck in a 1970s U.S. environmental commercial or whatever with a crying Indian, so he decided to go pick up trash, and he tried to get other people interested. He said, come, I'm going to go pick up trash, people. Why don't you come and pick up trash with me?
Shores.
Everybody thought that was an utterly stupid idea, which it was. But all of a sudden, then, he decided, well, I'll put on a Spider-Man costume, and he actually started getting noticed, because otherwise people were just ignoring this idiot picking up trash. Now people are saying, look, there's an idiot in a Spider-Man costume picking up trash. So anyway, he goes around, he picks up trash. And as it turns out, Indonesia is the world's second largest producer of plastic pollutants in the oceans after China, which is kind of strange because, you see, if you listen to the American media, the U.S. is the only country in the world that does any polluting. We're the only country in the world that throws crap out the window and pollutes the ocean and is creating that big old massive, what is that massive plastic vortex out there in the ocean?
Oh, yeah, that big trash
the ring
island.
of fire.
Yeah, but all of a sudden it's like, oh, wait a minute. It's not even, it's China and Indonesia. It's not us. So anyway, this is this absolute stunner to me. So anyway, so this guy, so now he's got a forum. So he decides to get on his soapbox and says, I hope the government throws more weight behind efforts to clean up trash and tighten rules on waste management, including single-use plastic bags. Minimize. Who gives a shit? All right.
So, thoughts on the recycling Spider-Man?
This was just one big old man yells at clouds scenario.
Yeah.
I like that Walter says, in the trash, he found a copy of One More Day and left it behind because it was too toxic.
It's an unfortunate costume.
Yeah, he's got the Infinity War costume.
But that was probably just because it was cheap off Amazon. Because I'll be honest, I don't think he intended to cosplay. I think it was just, let's put on a costume to raise awareness for recycling, which is fine. So
Spider-Man, yeah.
Yeah.
Yay, rah, rah.
Mark, you putting on a Spider-Man costume and taking out the trash?
No.
I mean, if you wanted,
I'm a red-blooded American. I'm just going to throw wherever I'm at.
if you wanted to dress up like a superhero and take out the trash, why not dress up as Punisher?
Oh,
Captain Planet.
Oh, Captain Planet. There you go.
I mean, he uses Planeteers though. That's the only way this works.
No, he's going to turn you into a tree.
Nothing strange about that is this big guy hanging around a bunch of kids. You know,
this guy's trying to find.
I'll see if I can't get Grant to dress up as a Planeteer.
He's trying to find his trash. That's what he's trying.
Wait a minute. Whoa! I just saw something on this picture. Hold on.
It's Steve Ditko. Here we go. Deep dive.
Hold on. Oh, okay. Hold on.
Look
at the feet. Look at the feet. He's wearing flip-flops.
Yes, because he bought it off Amazon and it doesn't actually have
Spider-Man
the
in
shoe
flip-flops.
soles.
I've never seen that.
He probably doesn't want to step on a drug needle, Brad, and have to go like all the way to his foot for crying out loud. I dress as Spidey and have boots up to my damn mid-thigh for crying out loud. I don't want to get somebody's disease.
Wait,
ooh, is that AIDS?
Are we not talking about? Are we now? Because you were saying up to mid-thigh, and my brain immediately went to the Broadway show Kinky Boots, and now I'm just picturing Spider-Man and Kinky Boots, and
there's a tighter shot of the flip-flops.
Mid-thighs save lives.
Oh, wow! All right. So I like this quote in the chat was JR is like a juggernaut. He's slow start. Once it gets going, bam. Okay, I like that one. JR, as if one trashy story was enough. No, I gave you 2 this month. So let's go to abcnews.com.
Why do you have to say that so menacingly?
How blessed you are, JR.
Yeah, this is why I get up every morning to do things like this. Yeah,
JR has had it.
Didn't we do this story?
Did we? No. This is like, for example, that happened in Indonesia. This one happens like in Canada. So we're gonna do a bunch of aid. No, we didn't do this one.
No, because I think I did this one back in March or April.
Oh, you did?
Oh well, I don't know about that.
Did we find out? Yeah, did we find out who this was? Like, is that why this is brought back up? Like, because that was
no,
the thing,
I don't.
No one knew who it was.
Well, I mean, first of all, you're actually insinuating that Brad doesn't pay close enough attention.
Here it comes,
and that he would actually repeat his stories because he's not really paying attention to just crap he's throwing out there or whatever.
In case someone missed it in March, JR, take
there we go.
You have stuff prepared.
All right. So anyway, I wondered where, the first thing that got me was it was called the Abbotsford News. And I was thinking, what the hell is an Abbotsford? I mean, is it a car? That's what I was thinking, it's like, it's you go to a dealership and I want a Ford Abbots, and so, and then you drive around in some. So, and then I found out it was a place in Canada. So I figured, well, it's a Canadian car then, and a Ford Abbots, in Canada. So like, for example, And where is Abbotsford here? I give you people another geography lesson.
No, hold on.
All right, give you another.
There you go.
Graphs.
Okay.
So
hold it up high. Hold it up high.
So here we go. See,
is this
like
from MapQuest?
I don't know what this is from. I just printed it. So anyway, like this is the state of Washington, and see this little dot there? That's Abbotsford. All right, and it's right on the U.S. border. Okay, and then there's this like big old island. I think they call it Van Cuck or something or other like that.
This is like reading a Jonathan Hickman comic. What's with all the graphs?
Yeah. So anyway,
spread of text
we're learning.
So since
we are
it's
learning.
It's
Adam
like
loves how JR's printing these things out.
Brad, let JR get through his thing.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. And like so since this is like we're gonna do say A's a lot because it's in Canada or whatever. So like there's this like A guy, like he's picking up trash and he's wearing a Spider-Man costume because he was he didn't have any clothes because all of his clothes were at the dry cleaners, and like he didn't have anything to wear, so he just like put on some costume and he's out picking up trash and stepping on drug needles and shit like that. So
well, no, he's got Asics on.
He's got what?
That's a power
Asics.
move.
Oh, look at his shoes. He's got different shoes. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
okay, go ahead, there.
So anyway, Canadians can't spell because they say friendly neighborhood. So it's like NEIGHBORU. HO whatever, and I don't know. It's like I don't know. Brad's a teacher now, right? And maybe he can teach. Maybe this is like
I don't teach spelling.
Maybe probably for good reason, just like you don't teach reading. But
it's the English version.
Well, wait a minute. How can it be the English version if this is Canadian? Like, aren't like Canadians and English like different? Or wait a minute. They were like England owned Canada, right?
Yeah,
their money still has the Queen on it. Like,
yes.
they're
still a Commonwealth. Yes.
Oh, a Commonwealth, like
Yes.
Massachusetts, West Virginia, Kentucky, and Puerto Rico. Anyway, okay. So
You're trying to tell us something here, JR.
I think so.
Yeah. Hornetech
Where's
is
this going?
Canadian, and he's in chat, and he's like, "Oh, you just lost all your Indonesian and Canadian listeners."
There you go.
Well, I mean,
JR don't care. He's like a honey badger.
Well, it's not like it's not like I stereotype anybody. Like, you guys were like George was stereotyping Swedes. I mean, the time when he asked it.
And yet, everything that I mentioned, the guy was like, "Yes, we like that here."
So anyway, this is another pretty worthless story that Brad came up with. And,
Twice, evidently.
so like
It's
now
a
I'm just going to
good
do shadow
story.
puppet. Now I'm going to do shadow puppets or something like that. So, all right,
Go.
And that's all I got, boys.
Oh,
and
that's
girls.
all you got. Oh,
No, Dark Mark shamed me today. I just once he started going into his act, I just wanted to crawl and slither and die. I mean, I've kind of realized that I'm so old now that I've outlived my usefulness, and so Mark,
Never.
we can.
JR, we have a request in chat for more goblin ass puppets.
Which I think that was the. Yeah. All right. Yep.
Oh,
No,
Anyway.
the goblin ass is like back in the closet where it belongs. So anyway,
and there's the quote of the night. All right, we'll take a couple questions from chat if you got them, and then we're going to wrap this show up with a bow. So, Dark Mark pulling on JR's cape, says Jonathan. Mark,
No,
like
I got
take
lucky
on the
one
master?
time. JR's the man.
No, but what we do is we plug like a USB stick in JR's brain, siphon off like all the charisma. We just take it out.
All
we plug
the
it in Dark
charisma?
Mark.
I don't think JR's brain is updated to USB.
It's upgraded to OS 7.
I think it might just be an electrical port.
Gotta go plug in.
well, when you guys were
New day
talking about,
tomorrow.
It's
was
300
It's a
baud.
floppy disk. It's a floppy disk. Neil
Oh, yeah,
won't
it's a
remember
floppy.
those.
you guys were talking about PS4 and PS5, and I was thinking, what the hell's wrong with 8-bit? I loved 8-bit. I still play
Where's my
it.
Commodore 64, son.
They're the only games that I can win.
I had a Commodore 64.
I did too. Everybody's knocking on your door for Commodore 64. I accidentally on Facebook clicked on a link, and these things that they sell.
God.
That
No.
they what? It's not bad. It's one of these little boxes, and they have like 600 8-bit video games on them. And then I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. Now every other ad on Facebook is those same types of boxes for 600
It could be
games.
worse. Imagine if you hit one of the links we were thinking of.
Oh yeah.
You need a better ad blocker. I use an ad blocker, and I use like that Facebook Purity thing. I haven't seen an ad on Facebook in
There's a Facebook Purity app
10 years. Yeah.
on your phone.
No, not on the phone. No, you're screwed on the phone. Why would you do Facebook on the phone?
I do most of my Facebook on the phone.
That's your
You're
fault.
like my grandma.
Oh my God!
Man.
I thought JR was old. You just call me your grandma.
I don't look at anything that's going to spam. Like I used to read like articles on Daily Mail on their website.
Oh, yeah.
And like not for like the salacious stuff, but like every now and then they would actually be pretty good on breaking news stuff.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And so suddenly, for whatever reason, the ad blocker doesn't work on there anymore, and so they won't let the page load. And they're like, "Oh, you're using an ad blocker." You're like, "Damn right, I'm using an ad blocker. I don't think it's that bad then."
Yeah. Also,
What- our first-
if you turn your ad blocker off, though, they've got like 20,000 more ads.
Yes,
It's almost
Yeah.
all
There
ads
is,
now.
yeah. So I did it one time because there was something I really wanted to see. So I looked at it in a different browser that I didn't have the ad block on, and literally, like ad here, ad here, ad here. The actual part you could read was this
Yeah.
big, and everything else was trying to autoplay a video and all this.
Yeah.
And I was like, never again. I'm out.
Yeah.
I'm done. You've
That-
lost.
Our first question is for
these reasons, I'm
JR
out.
from
Yeah.
Vinkman. What are some of your all-time favorite Star Trek action figures and toys?
I have I have some of the original Mego action figures from the 1970s.
Nice.
They're not in the boxes anymore, obviously, because it was I was a young kid or whatever. And it's like, oh, great, a Spock action figure, rip, and of course stuff like that and things like that. So I got that. So I got that, and I got the original Enterprise playset or whatever, where you spin the transporter around and and press the button and things like that. So it was pretty, I still got those. Boy, what other? Some of the latter and there's a really great Rathacon Mr. Spock that actually looks like Leonard Nimoy.
Mm-hmm.
So that's pretty good. But I have to say, Vinkman, my sentimental favorites are the old Migos from the 70s.
I'm sorry, Brett.
I was just going to say, do you remember, because we're about 10 years apart, JR, I think, if not more. Do you remember, because I know you wouldn't have collected any of the next gen toys. 'Cause I had a few of those. But I remember, oh God, he's dying. Mark, you're officially taking over the role after this.
Guys, we're accelerating the process.
No, I was trying to think if
everything.
I had any OG Star Trek toys. And JR, do you remember this? The marshmallow dispenser. So
Yes, my mother had one.
You had to cut off some proof of purchases from these marshmallows, and you stuff your marshmallows up this plastic thing.
Marshmallows?
Yeah, that's what Spock called them, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what Spock called them, was marshmallows. But what was that about sticking something up your marshmallow? Was that, what did you say, Brad?
Well, you stick your marshmallow up the. Oh God, never mind. Yeah,
I was about to say I haven't
you.
done that since my last child was born.
Okay.
But anyway,
Did you? So your grandma had one of these, a marshmallow dispenser?
my mother ordered one. My mother was a big Star Trek fan.
I had
She's
one of
a big
those.
Star
too.
Trek fan. She's still alive, senile but alive.
Yeah. Yes, George. Sorry.
All right, JR, real quick, because I didn't know if you knew this or not. Do you know that Star Trek Axanar thing?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Paul Jenkins is a writer for that.
Oh, he is. That I didn't know.
Yeah.
Oh.
If you Google,
Wait.
If
Because
you
sorry.
go ahead.
I was gonna say because I do Two Geek Girls, which is a part of their Aries Studios. So is he working with Alec?
I'm not sure. I just found out about it yesterday. I just found out that he's one of the writers, and I think he was. They did something where like he's actually like in the captain's chair, like in a uniform and everything.
Mhm.
Like
Yeah.
if you Google it, you can actually find Paul Jenkins
That's cool.
dressed as a Star Trek captain. And yeah, I was reading about it last night, and like he's one of the writers.
So how did Axanar pick themselves? I thought Paramount had sued them into non-existence.
They came into some kind of
and
agreement.
crushed. Yeah, and crushed all the other fan films while they were at it.
Yeah.
They came into some kind of agreement, and I don't know the particulars. It's been months and months and months since I read about it, but from what I gathered, they're still going to be allowed to do it. They just, I don't know. I guess they can't make money off. I don't know how it works.
Well, yeah,
I
I
think-
mean,
I think
basically,
there's probably a
using
profit element.
donations. They're using donations to build their own studio and make their own products and sell light. It's and basically he ruined it for everybody as far as the Star Trek fan films, because then Paramount came out with like extremely rigid and strict guidelines, and it killed Star Trek Continues and killed whatever Cawley was doing, and
We have a question.
It was a mix of Axanar and Star Trek Renegades, because I think Tim Russ and his crew went around CBS's back to make it.
They were talking.
I don't know
questions
all of
in
it.
chat. They're talking about Commodore 64s. Adam played Quest Probe on C64, which I did too. Eric wants to know if anybody had a ColecoVision. I think George did, if memory serves.
I had a ColecoVision, and I had the attachment for back when I bought the ColecoVision. Okay, I had saved up my money for like all summer from doing chores, and back then it was like $300.
Yeah, it was like $100 more than an Atari or something.
Yeah, I mean it was expensive, and then I got the add-on, because you could buy an add-on for it that like slipped into one of the slots on it, or the little ports, and it let you play Atari games through the ColecoVision. So I was playing everything. My friends.
I think this is it. I think this might be what you're talking about. That looks like a port.
It might have been. I can't remember where it connected. I just remember that it connected, and it was like a separate box, and it connected to it, and then you could play your Atari cartridges on it.
The joystick is very weird. I've never actually played one, but the joystick. What did you? Is this like a modern PS4 controller?
Yeah, it's just a little directional pad.
Yeah. What were the numbers for? What'd you do with the numbers?
Most of the time, nothing. Most of the time, you would play with that little center, with the directional pad.
Yeah.
The directional stick, and then you would push the buttons on the side. The buttons, there were games that, it was there if you wanted to code in for something for the games where you would need to use buttons, but most of them didn't. Most of them just ignored.
What is this? Where down at the bottom? Down here, is that where the Atari plug-in maybe would go?
Yeah, I think so. I thought it was on the side, but it may have been on the front.
I think that's where the cartridge goes, right there.
Yeah, that's where the ColecoVision cartridge
That's
goes.
Cool.
Yeah.
I remember wanting to play Donkey Kong on it because the graphics were so much better.
Yeah, the graphics were better than Atari.
Yeah, head and shoulders above Atari.
Everything looked better on ColecoVision.
Remember how ugly that Atari Pac-Man game was back in the day?
Yeah. I remember because everybody was excited because they were putting out all these ads and what was that big game back then, or that big magazine, Electronics?
Is it GameSpot?
Or no, it wasn't GameSpot. No, Barry, we're talking this is the 80s. This is decades before GameSpot. It was like Electronic Gamer or something like that.
I remember that game.
Radio
and it was they were doing all these ads. There were ads everywhere. It was big news. Pac-Man's coming to Atari. Pac-Man's coming to Atari, and it finally hit, and people were like, "Is this?"
Yeah, it was awful.
This looks terrible. I still played it though.
Here, I can show you an example of.
So in my room, this is back when I was living at my dad's house. I had the ColecoVision with the Atari attachment. I kept my my old Atari game.
There you go.
I kept my old Atari games in a Scooby-Doo lunchbox, and that was right there. I had this big desk in my room, like this big
that was ugly
desk. And then right off to the side because I had like a kind of a big desk in one area of the room, and then another big desk. It was like one of these things that joined in the corners, like an encyclopedia set and all this other kind of crap. And I had my Commodore 64 over there, so I was knee deep in it, dude. Back in the 80s.
Heroing says, when do you think Spencer's going to be finished with Kindred?
900. I got a theory on that.
Okay, go ahead.
He's going to keep it going and keep throwing out hints and clues, and then just like Roger Stern, he's going to leave without telling anybody who is.
There you go. Yeah,
it's facade, guys.
There we go.
I don't think it's going to be done by 850. I really don't.
You know what?
It's not gonna, but I think it's gonna be at least done by the time, because we just got October solicits, and that's Last Remains, and they were teasing that all the way back during ASM 38 or 37 after 2099 ended. They said the build to Last Remains starts here, and that was when Sin Eater came back. So I think that Last Remains will be the story where we see Kindred unmasked and wrapped up.
One of the things we didn't talk about on the podcast, part of the news, is there's going to be I guess Spencer's going to have his own version of Christos Gage now. Who is it they're bringing on?
Matt Rosenberg, the guy who did Hawkeye, Free Fall, and Uncanny X-Men. That
is for the side titles, though, right? With Miles and Gwen.
So we had the Huh issues during Hunted. What do we call the Lure? Do we call them Lure issues now?
Is it LU?
LR.
Lure, yeah, I guess Lure sounds good.
We're going to call them Lure because they're absolute bait to sell more copies. Ha. Pun.
Yeah. So I don't. 900. You think it'll be done? Anyone?
I think it'll be.
It depends. I mean, technically, here's the thing: you can ask this question, but we don't know how many events they're going to cram in there before now that are going to force it to keep going further back.
King and Black tie-in.
Yeah. Jonathan says JR is a punched paper tape reader computer. Pac-Man was the must-have. KOW, do you think Marvel will give Venom the Fantastic Four treatment? They seem to be putting a lot into the Venom verse.
I
don't know what the Fantastic Four treatment is, KO. Do you guys know what's he
I think I don't know. Comics or movies, because that's.
Yeah, I don't.
I
mean, the comics they put Dan Slott on it, and they didn't do much with it. Right?
Oh, are we talking about Venom or Fantastic Four?
Fantastic Four.
I'm trying to find out what the Fantastic Four treatment is.
Yeah.
Like I think it's like they keep making Venom films, but they keep them barely in development so they don't lose the rights.
Yeah.
Oh well, no, because that's a whole separate thing. The thing with the Fantastic Four is that's all Fox really had before they had the X-Men one. So they were trying to keep that because they wound up, I think, buying the movie rights for that in 1984. But the thing with Sony, they have a completely different deal for the Spider-Man titles. It's just they're constantly got something in development because they want to use it. It's not good scripts. Yeah. So they're actually taking it away versus when it's Fantastic Four, they don't care what's in the script. They're just trying to use it. But that's Fox had a different agreement than they did with Sony.
Vinkman had the Star Trek question to JR. Walter wants to know if JR had the first Pong.
No, didn't have a Pong. Did have an Atari 2600 though. So
I actually have a stake in this conversation now.
Oh, go ahead.
My dad owned the first Pong game when he was my age. So,
how old is your dad?
What was that, JR?
Yeah, how old is your dad?
It's like 58.
Oh.
Mark, you had your hand up. You had Pong back in the day?
Yeah. Where was your mother a few years ago? Anyway.
What in the... Yeah, JR's your daddy.
Wow.
George, did you have Pong?
No. I had the Atari 2600, which had Pong. And the Atari 2600 did have a dial controller that you could use for
combat. Remember the tank game?
Yeah, and because that's how you controlled like where you were firing.
I remember.
So they did have that, and they did have Pong for the 2600, but before then, Pong had come out as its own thing.
Yeah.
And so I didn't have that, but I did have the Atari 2600.
I had a 2600 one.
Yeah. Kelly,
I love combat.
Have Pong or an Atari?
No, because my first game console was a Super Nintendo.
Oh,
in the early 90s. Yeah. Like I was born tail end of 1990, so I didn't
Yeah,
I think I was a toddler.
Atari died about 83 or 84, I think.
Atari
right after ET came out.
Atari died off when IBM and Commodore started getting big.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Grant wants to know why Chi-Town exposed himself in Virginia. Jonathan wants to know.
We've started
planning on getting a PS5. I want it because of the Miles game. I'll give it.
Yeah, I mean, I want it for the Miles game. I just don't know if I want to pay the price it's going to be.
The early estimate I'm seeing is 500. 450 or 500.
I'm just building a custom PC now because all I want now is Cyberpunk and Halo Infinite, and they're going on PC. So I'm just getting the PC.
I'll be getting a brand new PC probably I would think sometime before fall or by fall.
Hey Mark, your son
George,
wants
you want to play video with me?
Play what?
You want to play video with me?
I didn't hear anything you said. Do you want
to play video with me?
Video
games.
Why don't you just say? Why don't you talk normal? Those are big boy words. Yeah, I mean, I've played video games with crawl-space folks before.
Walter wants us to do our best JR impression with props.
Hang on, let me get some.
Oh, Neil's got one ready, evidently. Okay. How about we just have Neil do it? Let's see Neil's impression.
Yeah. I don't have good impressions.
Yeah, I'm not very good either. Oh, here, hold on. Let me full screen. No, I don't want full screen because I want to see JR's reaction.
Something, Green Goblin, something, Norman Osborn. First we attack his heart. Avenge me, Harry. I'm going to stab myself with a glider. I'm dead. Cigar.
Cigar? When did he start smoking? Walter, there you go.
There you go, Walter.
I did it. Yeah.
Are you guys excited about Mark Bagley being on Amazing Spider-Man? He will draw a regular 616 Green Goblin finally, and not that Ultimate thing. Yeah, that I didn't have time to put that in the news segment. But yes, Mark Bagley's coming back.
He's not drawing the return, I don't think, because Ryan Otley's doing the issue where the Green Goblin comes back, and then Pat Gleason's doing Last Remains.
I saw a little bit of the video, and Bagley did say he's going to be drawing a little bit of Norman and Green Goblin.
Yeah, but I don't think that it's going to be the first reveal. I think that's going to be Otley.
Yeah. I mean, it is nice to see him coming back for ASM. That's nice, I guess. I'm more excited. I'm more excited for Pat Gleason to come back. I've been waiting for him to come back since 2099.
Adam is saying it's Otley, Ramos, and
Oh,
Bagley on 850
wow.
for the main story. So that's another
Oh,
$10
Ramos is
comic.
back! Yay!
Venkman says he does have a few vintage Mego Star Trek toys, including a mint on Captain Kirk. Nice. Did you guys see the Star Trek Lower Decks trailer? Says Jonathan.
I saw it. I'm mixed on it.
Yeah.
I'm willing to give it a shot. I think that like the weird zany shit in space would be a good.
I don't know how I feel about Rick and Morty, and official Star Trek. You know what I mean?
Rick
Like,
and
it's
Morty
one thing for it to be a joke. Like, it's one thing for it to be jokes and funny and parodies. For it to officially be a part of Star Trek is weird. I think the best thing out of that whole situation is that they're going to be doing more family-friendly, kid-friendly Star Trek stuff with Nickelodeon, which will be fun.
Oh yeah, they got like this one pitch about a bunch of kids stealing like an old Starfleet ship and going on adventures.
Yeah. Well,
Lower Decks didn't look family friendly.
No, it's not.
Yeah. Got a lady swinging a batleth and murdering aliens.
Yeah.
Well, let's go to the Star Trek fan. Any interest in this, JR?
Oh, about as much interest as I have in drinking Drano.
All right. Another question for JR. How do you feel about the Green Goblin coming back in ASM? He was just here last year.
Yeah, I know. I mean, it's like I'm always happy to see Norman, but I'm always afraid to see him because I'm not convinced that there's a lot of writers that know how to handle him correctly. Yeah. I'm surprised that Slott did as well as he did with him, frankly. I just was nervous as heck when Slott did Norman, but he didn't screw it up too badly. But
Grant wants to know if anybody is investing in the ASM Amazing Fantasy 15 scam. No. Probably not.
I was wondering, Grant was pretty sure he was going to get a PS5. Mark, does he have his own source of income other than you?
No, but I am going to invest the rest of his college fund into the Amazing Fantasy 15 so that we can afford to buy PS5.
The old man strikes back.
Wow.
Damn. There you go.
Much of my Star Trek toys are stuff from the Playmates. Oh yeah, Playmates did a good job with those action figures back in the 90s. Did you like those, JR?
I've got the actually Venkman's talking about the classic Bridge Crew set box set, and I have that. Playmates had a lot of good stuff. I mean, I didn't buy a lot of it. I mean, it's like anything else, I mean, you could go into bankruptcy buying all the stuff that comes out. Yeah. But that was one reason why the Star Trek 2009 stuff that came out was just crap. I mean, Playmates had done such a great job, and had just built this like universe of figures. And then when the Star Trek 209 comes out, then Hasbro comes out with this just utter garbage. Yeah. It was very disappointing. So
Hornacek remembers Zaxxon. I haven't thought of Zaxxon in a long time on the ColecoVision. I had a goofy controller, but it was amazing. My first console was the Odyssey 2, which I find most people aren't aware. I don't know what
I remember that.
Odyssey 2. Zaxxon, Smurfs, and Spideys. Was there a Spider-Man game on Coleco?
There was.
It was Atari that had those.
It was Atari that had it. I remember because I've talked about that on the podcast before about how I had the Superman game. I'm a Spider-Man guy, but I had the Superman game. I could never find the Atari 2600 Spider-Man game.
Oh, really?
I could never find it. And E.T. The notorious E.T. video game.
I had E.T.
My dad drove me all over the damn place trying to find that thing.
I wasn't as offended with that game as so many people are. Did you hate it?
It didn't make any damn sense.
Yeah, it wasn't a good game in terms of like actual playability. They made it too hard. That was the whole point.
There weren't. I mean, like most of these games are like you could you just plug it in and figure the damn thing out.
Yeah.
E.T. wasn't like that. E.T. I was like, I don't even know what I'm doing. Oh, I'm dead.
Well, that was the whole
going
point.
Down holes.
It randomized so much that it basically became unplayable. They have tons of documentaries about it, about how like they got rushed and they couldn't really make the game, so all they did was just jumble a bunch of programming together, and it was.
Anthony is saying on his ColecoVision he played Smurfs a lot. So here is what Smurfs look like.
I had Smurfs. You had to get all the way to Gargamel's castle.
Looks like Super Mario. Those are good 1980s graphics, by the way.
This is why people preferred the ColecoVision over the Atari.
Oh, look at that.
Because you wouldn't have had this on Atari.
No, that the colors, a lot more colors. It looks like.
Yeah, and you got all the way to the end, and you had to fight Gargamel, or you didn't fight him, but you had to find a way to.
Let's go to the end. Oh, there's
Yeah,
Gargamel's castle.
You're in his castle.
That damn bird keeps coming back.
See, I'm always afraid the Smurf is going to like land on the fence and kind of hurt him.
Well, there's Smurfette.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's see. Electronic Gaming Monthly, is that the magazine you were thinking of?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
I remember that one. Nintendo Power Magazine, I remember that one.
I remember.
Had an Intellivision. Oh, I remember friends that had that.
My friend Randy had an Intellivision.
Kindred is Jason McIndale, says Hornstack. Issue 1000 is the big reveal of Kindred.
There you go.
Good
yeah.
God.
It's like in Tom King's Batman run when we had Bane in the background the entire time and they didn't do anything with him until like the very last issue of Tom King's run. Took him 85 issues.
Adam says he thinks he will be unmasked in 850, which I suspect is true. I agree with that.
Like
the MCU will arrive before the comic reveal of Kindred. That's pretty funny.
I did notice something about how the covers have shown Kindred. Can anyone pull up the cover for for number 50?
Yeah.
By anyone, you mean Brad. Brad's the one that has to do that.
Well, anyone can screen share.
Well, yeah, anyone can.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's technically true. I'm too lazy to do that.
I know. I'm getting it. Let me see if I can.
I just never learned how.
Okay.
Speaking of that, reminds me one time, way back in the day, back when Stella was still part of the podcast. I was talking to Stella one night. Stella was trying to find something via Google, and she was having trouble, and she mentioned it. And I said, what you have to do is you have to put whatever it is that you're searching for, you need to put that in quotes.
Yeah.
So that it's got the whole term in there. And I tried to explain that to her, and she was like, oh, God, no, that takes way too much time.
All right, there you go.
So there you go. That's a free.
I was talking about number 50, the one that was just released.
Oh,
it looks terrible.
This looks bad.
It just looks it looks terrible.
The one that was just released. Which one?
It's number 50. That's 850 because that's number 49.
Yeah,
that's all I did.
New numbers.
We're gonna get that if I do.
Yeah.
Just search Gleason.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, this one. That's Bagley.
It's the one to the right of it.
This one.
The other one.
The one in the middle.
This one.
I did
Bagley.
Oh my
Bagley.
God!
You just clicked on it, Brad.
This?
Wow.
This?
Yeah,
All right.
I noticed earlier that's the closest I think that Kindred's ever been to Peter. I know that's probably nothing and it's just cover symbolism, but I think it points out that Kindred's much more face to face with Peter, and I think that's where we're getting. That's after he's been unmasked. I think 850 will be the unmasking, and that'll be like now they're actively going against each other.
Here, let me get to the bottom of the.
That can be our next game show. Can Brad find this?
Can Brad click the right image?
Then you have a timer. That'd actually be pretty good. Anybody playing the Marvel Villainous board game? They have Taskmaster as a villain and Spider-Man is represented in the hero deck. That's up George's alley. It sounds like.
Actually, I think I have heard of that now, but I haven't. I've kind of dropped off the. Because I used to play a ton of like tabletop games, but then once I got into D&D so heavy, I'm running 4 D&D campaigns right now. It's like I work 8 to 5 during the day, and then all the rest of that time now goes into D&D. So I've kind of dropped off the tabletop scene, which I feel bad about. It's just there's only so much damn time in the day now.
I've got here you go. This is what he's talking about.
Warhammer.
Oh, who are the villains on the back? That Taskmaster,
Hela,
Thanos. Ultron.
Ultron.
I think that's a Black Panther villain.
No, is this like its own separate game, or is this an expansion towards the Disney?
It's its own separate game.
Okay.
Oh, Killmonger.
It's Killmonger. Okay, got it.
Killmonger's wearing a Triceratops head now?
I don't know.
I think it's a tribal mask.
Oh, there you go. We're inside the box.
Oh, whoa.
So Grant, no, we're not. Kelly needs the jet.
Yeah, I need the jet.
Should we answer a few more questions or just say goodnight to Kelly? What do you think?
I think I'll probably go ahead and head off too. It's already 11.
Yeah, I got to go to bed. My
Everybody is heading out. Don't get, as Adam says, don't get Brad started on the Google. Yeah. Brad doesn't know how to Google, says Vinkman. Yes.
No, he just clicks around until he finds
My
something he
favorite
likes.
Incredible Hulk TV show episode is Married with Marriott Hartley, where David Banner gets married. That's my favorite. Another question for me I saw real quick was what I think of here it is. Ewing leaving the Hulk. I don't think Ewing is leaving the Hulk.
No, he confirmed in June, I think, that number 50 is his last issue.
Yeah.
Of Immortal Hulk.
Yeah.
However, it could be his first issue of Incredible Hulk. So I suspect Ewing is not leaving because I really don't. So, all right, everybody, thank you for watching. Right. We had a good turnout tonight. So
yeah, thank you guys.
Catch you guys in August.
Have a good night, guys.
See ya.